just some time ago. Let's connect with Professor Sanjay Bhardwaj, joining us from School of International Studies, JNU. Welcome, sir, to the program. You're continuing to be with us in this broadcast. Thank you very much. So among the agreements, 11 in total signed just now, India is also set to open a new consulate in Sabah, Malaysia. Tell us the ways in which this will further strengthen ties between the two countries.
Thank you very much and good morning. Before coming with the new consulate and talking about the people-to-people connect and tourism, what I gathered from the two prime ministers' address, that they are emphasizing on three very critical issues. Particularly, while you talk, the Malaysian prime minister talks that India should play a very strong and constructive role in the global peace process. And he categorically mentioned that the conflicts going on in between Russia and Ukraine, and then of course in the Middle East, the Gaza and Israel and Palestine. So basically, that Prime Minister of Malaysia has recognized the India's increasing role globally in the peace building and in peace process. So I think it's a very good symbol, very good indications that the world is looking at India, that India is basically being a country of Buddha, a country of Mahatma Gandhi, can contribute in the peace and stability globally. The second very important aspects Prime Minister Narendra Modi has raised in his speech, that let's have and emphasize about the global institutional improvement and reforms, basically indicating, because you know that today the multilateralism is under threat, where the superpower, particularly the United States, is withdrawing from the key institutions, international institutions on climate change, on developments and all that. So I think the two countries, they have come together, and Prime Minister Modi has categorically emphasized, let's have reforms in the UN Security Council, as well as the other institutions, and improve them for the betterment of the peace and stability of the world. The second very important point Prime Minister Narendra Modi has talked about, that there should not be double standard or terrorism, because the terrorism is a issue of global commons, and the countries, particularly India, has been suffering for a long from this menace of terrorism. So India has been mobilizing, asking the world that there should not be double standard or terrorism. The terrorism is terrorism, and that should be dealt by common definitions and common understanding. And the countries who are supporting terrorism and cross-border terrorism, they should be demoralized. They should not be supported either on the ideological lines or by other means. So I think these three very important aspects has come out, other than the people-to-people connect, particularly while both the countries has talked under the 11 MOUs about the tourism is one of the sector where the two countries understand and bridge the culture and society all together. And in this direction, the new consulate has been started in Malaysia, that would definitely give a e-visa, basically talking the e-visa and visa-free regime between the two countries. Malaysia has already have a visa on arrival, and India is also have started giving visa without any charges. So that kind of gestures is basically bridging the two countries' people. And in this direction, to promote the tourism, one very important aspect that we have also introduced about the UPI, announced the UPI transactions. Basically, that ringgit and the rupees will be the source of transaction between the two countries. And I think this would enhance tourism as well as education sector and the commercial ties between the countries. And because the commercial, we are having around 20 billion bilateral trade, and the trade, India is in trade deficit. So we can, when we will have more businesses, particularly one sector has been well appreciated in Malaysia is the garment sector, the saris, Banarsi saris, and you know that has been very popular in Malaysia. This would help to balance the trade between the two countries if we will promote the garment sector in that. But third very important aspects, because the India under the India's Act East policy, one aspect is very significant is the capacity build-up, and in this capacity build-up, I think the role of the semiconductor or digital connectivity are very important instruments to enhance the capacity build-up, and that would bring cooperation in the IT sector, in Silicon Valley, in education sector, in medical sector. And I think Prime Minister Modi has also emphasized about that. Let's address the issue of the global health and global food security. And Prime Minister of Malaysia has endorsed these issues of collaborations in these areas, so that you can have a better capacity between the two countries. And this capacity build-up mission will definitely will add to the research in the field of semiconductor and healthcare system. That is the third very important aspect. Fourth aspect is the about the maritime security and the strategic partnership. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar has talked about that we have elevated our relationship in 2024 towards the comprehensive strategic partnership. And this comprehensive strategic partnership is talking not just about the traditional security issues, but also the non-traditional security issues. In this non-traditional security issues, where the two countries are maritime neighbors, so we are looking free and open Indo-Pacific region. We are also looking free navigational rights to all the states either in South China Sea or Indian Ocean. So for that, we need to have a better cooperation in defense exercise, in naval exercise, in maritime security exercise, intelligence sharing. And these were the issues that has been addressed by the two prime ministers in their speech, and of course that has become source of the 11 documents. And the final point that I gathered is the two countries, they also emphasized about the trade and investment regimes, that how you can enhance the trade and investment between the two countries, and this so that you can strengthen the relations either in the context of investment in different sectors, or like improve the service sectors between two countries, because India has been constantly facing a competition with the Chinese. Chinese are strongly present in these Southeast Asian countries, and India is and that there is a Chinese shadow on India's eastward engagement. So India is looking to have a strong bonding and a close personal rapport with to improve the relations, and that has been reflected while Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting to Malaysia. So that this personal bonding and the personal rapport will definitely build a confidence between the two countries, and we will be able to invest more in energy sector, where we are looking to expand and diversify our energy supply, basically, because Malaysia, you will see that Malaysia is rich in hydrocarbon sector. So hydrocarbon and Malaysia and Indonesia, these are the two countries in South Asia are rich in hydrocarbon, and we can import that because India is looking forward to green and clean energy sector. So India is looking these cooperation in education sector, energy sector, in tourism, and all that. And then the final point that I would say, these areas of cooperations can be bridged and can be explored in the deep civilizational historical ties that two countries has. India being a source of many of the cultures like the Hinduism, like the Buddhism, and of course the Indo-Islamic culture that is very prominent, very prevalent in Malaysia. That you will see a lot of the minars and the mosque, and they are very closely very similar to the India's minars and mosque, and that the Islam is very inclusive, very syncretic in Malaysia. That has been inherited from India. So we are looking these cultural bondings will pave a way to come together to with each other. And of course, we are also looking that any radical elements like Zakir Nayak is in Malaysia. We will also looking a cooperation from Malaysia to extradite him to India because he has been involved for radicalization of the South Asian societies. So I think these are the message is very strong, very
Yes.
touching to both the countries' basic fabric.
Yes, one rooted in trust, friendship, and shared aspirations. Professor Sanjay, request you to stay with us as we emphasize another important point in the presser there, joint presser. Prime Minister Modi said that Malaysia is the first nation that he's paying visit to in 2026. He added that India and Malaysia civilizations share cultural heritage, democratic values that still bind both nations together. Listen in.
सिक्योरिटी के क्षेत्र में हम काउंटर टेररिज्म, इंटेलिजेंस शेयरिंग और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी में सहयोग मजबूत करेंगे। हम रक्षा सहयोग को भी और व्यापक बनाएंगे। एआई और डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज के साथ साथ हम सेमीकंडक्टर, हेल्थ और फूड सिक्योरिटी में साझेदारी को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। आज आयोजित सीईओ फोरम ने ट्रेड और इन्वेस्टमेंट के नए अवसर खोले हैं। हम स्ट्रेटेजिक ट्रस्ट से इकोनॉमिक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का रास्ता बनाएंगे।
All right, let's go back to Professor Sanjay. Professor Sanjay, Prime Minister Modi also announced a new guiding framework called Impact to guide future cooperation between the two countries. Could you shed some more light on what is expected in this Impact framework?
Basically, we are looking how the two countries people, two countries society can impact on each other. Because when you talk about that, the India's idea of East is basically spiritually embedded, being a sun worshipping civilization. We have the like Surya Namaskar in yoga, like Vastu in East. The East has a lot of contribution in India's culture and society. So we are looking and connecting, basically not just acting, but we are also connecting with the East, and that would definitely create a civilizational and cultural bondings between the two countries that inherited from the second century, you can say, second century, while we had the cultural and commerce linkage. You can also see the Chola dynasties it has sway up to the Malaysia, Indonesia, and all these areas. So we are looking and building the bridge or bridging the two countries, not only in the cultural sectors, but also this cultural heritage could convert to have to contribute peace and stability globally by cooperation in security areas, because the two countries, you can say both the countries are also looking Chinese expansionist and revisionist policy, where the Chinese, they are coming and having disputes in South China Sea through 9-dash line, and they are building the artificial islands and all that makes uncomfortable to Malaysia, Philippines, and Vietnam, and they are looking India as a balancing factor that let's cooperate, let's bridge relations with India so that India can basically become an alternative what the Chinese has been dominating. India, in the same manner, is also on the northern border facing Chinese revisionist and expansionist approach. So we are looking a very collaborative approach to have a strategic partnership. That's why Prime Minister of Malaysia has talks that we have elevated our partnership towards the comprehensive strategic partnership, where we started our diplomatic relations in 1957. But today we have developed a comprehensive strategic partnership, and there we are bringing all the issues all together, because now India has been working under the Indo-Pacific strategy, and in this Indo-Pacific strategy which has the Central Asia, which has the centrality of the ASEAN countries, and the ASEAN countries are very important. But I would like to put one more point here. In the Indo-Pacific strategy and under Quad, there are Japan, Australia, and Americans. Maybe Americans, they are looking this more in the context of the traditional security issues or containing or countering Chinese. But India is looking beyond that and looking, basically exploring it to have the non-traditional, to address the non-traditional security threats. And in his speech, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has categorically mentioned about the health, food, and semiconductor, like the health security and the food security and the other digital security are very important components.
Even maritime security, for that matter, sir. There's an agreement signed between the two sides on preventing corruption, standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping for seafarers and disaster management. So yes, overall, it's a very holistic domain, and yes, Malaysia is partnering with us on our journey towards development. Very heartening, conclusion that Prime Minister Modi gave in his address was we are walking together in the path for a prosperous Malaysia and a Viksit Bharat. Your concluding thoughts here, sir?
No, but very important point you have raised about that the global governance or the good governance. And in this good governance, basically that the point has been raised about the countering, along with that countering terrorism, we are also looking forward to countering corruption. And that let's have the corruption-free society. And for that, I think what most important aspect is, and India is talking about democracy in neighborhood, but now India is talking about the democracy globally. So so Malaysia and India can work together to cooperate in good governance, global governance, as well as the promotion of democracy. So if you will have a democratic government, you will have a good governance, then the issues of corruption, issues of terrorism, issues of the expansionist, or you can say supporting the terrorist activities, or having the encroachment, or not respecting the sovereignty of other countries through building artificial island, and all these issues will be addressed. So I'm sure that this holistic approach of the two countries and will definitely bring peace and stability in Indo-Pacific region, and the strategy of Indo-Pacific region will be implemented in its true sense. It's not against any country, but it is basically for the peace and stability and development of this Southeast Asia region, or you can say Indo-Pacific region.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Sanjay Bhardwaj ji, for staying with us all throughout on this very important day of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Malaysia. Really appreciate your joining us and you're giving us your valuable time.
Thank you very much.